do not.
Obviously, it's a conflict for us because it's Sergeant White's girlfriend, wife, I don't know.
Here are some stories of cops who had to arrest their own wives. Let's start with this woman who found out a big secret her police officer husband was hiding. She ended up humiliating him in front of the entire precinct.
God told me. I don't know why he would say that. Go ahead and get up. He said he f***ed you.
It was supposed to be just another regular workday when Sergeant White, a cop in Lea County, New Mexico, got the shocking news that his wife had been arrested. It all started a little earlier when he heard a call on the radio about a car that looked exactly like his. Curiosity got the best of him, so he decided to check it out for himself. When he arrived, he got the shock of his life. Not only was it really his car, but the driver was none other than his wife, Desiree Ortega. According to the officers on the scene, Desiree was completely out of control and aggressive. She refused to get out of the car and even attacked one of the officers while being forcibly removed. The worst part, not only did she appear drunk, but their baby was in the back seat while she was driving like a maniac. Unfortunately for Sergeant White, this was just the beginning of a huge mess, and what Desiree did next only made things worse for him. Once the officers managed to handcuff her, they put Desiree in the patrol car while they tried to investigate what was really going on. The situation was so unusual and awkward that the officers weren't even sure how to handle it. They knew there were standard procedures to follow, but they were hesitant since she was married to their boss.
Hey, so it's your vehicle, right?
Yep.
Okay, do you mind if I look in it?
You do anything you need to do.
I just wanted to get your consent
no
before
free
I did.
range. Have at it.
And if I take, like, the container or
Do
something, that's
whatever
fine.
you need to do. You have my full permission. Get after it.
Okay.
Even though they tried to help her out, it was pointless because Desiree had only one thing on her mind: exposing a dirty secret she had discovered about her husband. Turns out this whole mess started because Desiree found out her husband was cheating on her. But the cruel twist of fate, at that very moment, she was being arrested by his mistress.
God told me. I don't know why he would say that. Go ahead and get up.
He said he f***ed you.
I don't know why he would say that. Go ahead and get up.
Okay, let's go.
Go ahead and get up.
No, get up. Don't.
Go ahead and get up.
Get up. No. Amon
Go
said
ahead
he
and get up. Go
You're
ahead and get up.
He told me. Right now.
Go ahead and get up.
No, Jasmine.
Nobody seemed to pay much attention to what Desiree was saying and went on with their work. But when they searched the car, they found out why she was so upset. On the front seat was a bag full of empty alcohol containers. That discovery turned things from bad to worse for Desiree. Initially, she agreed to take a breathalyzer test and seemed to cooperate. But when it came time to formally read her rights and get her consent, she refused.
I cannot force you to take our test, but if you refuse, you will lose your New Mexico driver's license or non-residential operating privileges for 1 year. You are convicted in a court of driving while under the influence. You will also receive a greater sentence because you refuse to be tested. Do you understand? You understand, Desiree? You do understand. At this time, do you wish to take our test? Desiree, do you wish to take the test or not? Desiree, do you wish to take the test or not?
Stop.
Well, we have a job to do. You've already been read twice. I'm going to ask you one more time. Do you want to take the test or not? Okay, we're going to take that as a refusal then.
The officer explained over and over the consequences of refusing the test, but all Desiree could focus on was the fact that standing right in front of her was the woman who had ruined her marriage.
Tess, do you understand?
What happens after, like, I show the video of you with the mods?
So do you understand?
Do you have
Do
the
you
video?
understand?
I have the video of you with a mod.
Okay, number
White.
4. So because you basically don't understand, I have to read it again.
right.
I cannot force you to
right.
take our test, but if you refuse, you will lose your New Mexico driver's license.
Listen, okay? You're going to get read this one more time. It doesn't matter. None of that matters right now. It doesn't matter. No.
It really does.
Listen, this is what matters, so you need to listen.
That officer knew Desiree because he worked closely with her husband and was aware of the whole cheating situation. He could understand why she was so furious. But just when it seemed like things had calmed down, Desiree's behavior took another turn at the precinct.
You're not going to take the test? So you're refusing to take the test? We can't take you home. No, we can't. So listen up. This is is going to be the last time I tell you. You've already been read implied consent 5 times. Are you going to take the test or not? If you say anything other than a yes or a no, that's your answer is no. If you say yes, then we'll get you in here, we'll take the test. Those are your options. All right, let's get up so we can go and take the test.
She finally agreed to the test, but as soon as she stepped out of the car, she spotted her husband's mistress and completely refused to go near her. Once again, the officers had to work hard to convince her to ignore the other officer and just walk into the station. While waiting for the test, reality hit Desiree. She realized how deep in trouble she was and how serious the consequences of her actions would be. But by then, it was far too late.
Please, Victor, let me go home.
We can't.
Please. I want to go home and sleep. That's it. Please. I can't lose my kids. Victor.
Well, right now we have to get this test done before anything else can happen.
Oh no, if I lose this test, I will not have my kids.
Right now the machine needs you to blow until the tone stops.
I'm telling you, if I don't pass this,
You said you were going to take the test. Right now we're here. Now it's time to take the test, okay?
I'm telling you, if I
Desiree.
fail, I will not have my
Okay,
kids.
if the machine tones out, we're going to take it as a refusal and we're just going to take you right over to the jail. Big blow.
My kids.
Breathe in real big. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. All right.
Not surprisingly, she failed the test. Her blood alcohol level was confirmed to be 4 times the legal limit. At that moment, Desiree sealed her fate. She was arrested for drunk driving and had no choice but to face the consequences. If this was about exposing a cheating husband, she certainly succeeded in humiliating him in front of the entire precinct. But while all of this was happening, her husband was at the scene telling a very different version of events.
I hear a call come out and they described my car. I don't know my 28, but I know my car, if you describe it to me. I'm driving down this way, I see Solomon parked down there, and I'm like, why ain't he doing nothing? Because she was right here where my car is, look. So I swing around and I pull up next to her and I said, hey man, turn the car off. Because I didn't know if she had the baby or not. My focus was to get the car stopped to get the baby out. If you drive off and you crash, that's on you. But Solomon saw it. She started rolling forward, and I said, stop her. I put it in park. I turned the car off. I didn't say a word to her. I ran around the other side because I could see baby's feet. So I'm trying to think before she gets the conscious effort to try to put this car back in drive or turn it on. I run around, I grab the baby. And then I ran right up to her mom, and I was like, take the baby. Olenek rolls up. He was like, Sarge, we got it. I said, please deal with that. And I backed up.
We may never know if the cheating was real or if she made it all up to try to get out of trouble. But one thing's for sure, nothing justifies driving drunk, especially with a child in the car. After her arrest, Desiree was charged with DUI with a child in the vehicle, assaulting a police officer, resisting arrest, and reckless driving. But what this cop did is even crazier. He came up with a plan to have his own mistress arrested and locked up in a mental hospital.
Who does that?
It all started on August 21st, 2023, when Officer David received some messages from his ex-lover Michelle that he didn't like at all. That's when he came up with a twisted plan and decided to file a petition to have Michelle committed to a psychiatric hospital. But it wasn't going to be that easy. He needed to convince both the police and doctors that his ex-lover was mentally unstable. So he teamed up with a friend, went to her house, called the cops, and recorded this video. In the video, it's clear Michelle wasn't happy at all with what was happening, especially being recorded in that state. But that's exactly what David wanted. He needed footage of her looking completely out of control to prove his point.
You're absolutely insane. You're f***ing insane. And then you paint me to look insane. As I'm sitting on the ground and my head slammed into this and that. By a cop who called the cops on me.
Anyone watching the video might think she was truly losing it. But if you think David was doing all this out of concern for Michelle, You'd be wrong. His motives were far from noble. The truth is, the two had been in a relationship that fell apart shortly before this, but David couldn't accept the breakup, even though he was married to someone else. So when Michelle decided to speak her mind and vent her frustrations, David twisted her words and concocted this plan to have her committed as an act of revenge.
And you call the cops on me for what? For what? Oh, because I'm around a sociopath who says he can do whatever he wants, women are objects, whatever he wants. I'd be happy to tell them that. I mean, I don't know why you don't like when your truth, I just tell it back to you. Like, I don't know why you don't like that. But this is unacceptable behavior. Totally unacceptable. What the
After a struggle where Michelle fought back and got hurt, she managed to free himself from David's grip. But unfortunately, the nightmare was far from over.
I don't understand. And I can't relax. You just called the cops on me for existing. I didn't like your truth. Jesus, dude. Come on. What the What? Why are you treating me like I'm a criminal? I didn't do it. I just want to be able to stand.
Even though David kept claiming he was doing it all out of love and concern for Michelle, this use of excessive force told a completely different story. He treated her like a criminal, leaving Michelle completely restrained with no way to defend herself. What's even more disturbing is the look of rage on David's face as he held her down. If he truly wanted to help her, he wouldn't have been so aggressive. When the police arrived, Michelle was taken to a psychiatric hospital where she spent 5 days. She was released after doctors concluded that she wasn't suicidal and that her comments were simply a way of venting her emotions. But sometime later, David's bizarre plan was exposed, and he was arrested without bail on numerous charges, including strangulation, unlawful restraint, and abuse of authority. But this woman took things even further, trying to use both her cop boyfriend and her dad, who worked for the government, to get out of trouble.
Please don't ruin my life.
I'm not ruining your life.
Please. Please, can you call my boyfriend, please?
No, you're...
My dad is
Meet Nicole Fernandez, 34, who turned her night into a complete disaster on September 24, 2022. It all started when an officer pulled her over after noticing an illegal turn. But after a closer look, he realized the traffic violation was the least of her problems. Even before stopping Nicole, the officer had been following her for a while and noticed some damage to her car. But after just a short conversation, he could tell something was off. Her eyelids were droopy and her speech was slurred, clear signs she was under the influence of something. From that moment on, things got a whole lot worse for Nicole.
Alright, you have anything to drink tonight?
No, not at all.
Alright, you take anything? You seem a little out of it.
No, not at all.
Okay.
She didn't exactly lie about drinking that night, but there are plenty of other substances that can mess someone up. The real twist came when the officer asked for her ID.
Who's this?
That's my boyfriend.
Your boyfriend?
Yeah.
How long you guys been dating for?
Like a couple months.
Couple months?
Yeah.
Alright, you can hold on to that.
Instead of handing over her own ID, Nicole tried to play smart and gave him her boyfriend's police badge. Her boyfriend was a state trooper, and she clearly hoped this would intimidate the officer. But she fumbled and dropped the badge, which only made things worse. That little stunt gave the officer all the reason he needed to get her out of the car. Once she was out, the officer noticed traces of white powder in her car and on her face, which explained her behavior. Nicole tried everything to convince the officer to let her go, but when nothing worked, she made one last desperate move. She claimed her dad was someone important in the government.
My dad
Do not move.
Even that didn't work. She was immediately arrested and put in the patrol car. Afterward, the officers conducted a more thorough search of her vehicle and confirmed the white powder was heroin. All they needed now was to do some sobriety tests. Unsurprisingly, the tests showed Nicole was under the influence of drugs. She was taken to the station, where it was all officially confirmed. In the end, Nicole was charged with possession of heroin, driving under the influence, reckless driving, and more. But what happens when a cop has to arrest his own daughter?
Dad,
So,
Dad.
Dad.
Dad. Where's my dad?
Oh, your dad's right over here.
You're arrested for DUI. Go ahead.
Have a seat.
On December 28, 2022, in New Jersey, a witness reported seeing a white vehicle crash into a traffic light and then drive off. A little further down the road, officers spotted a car at a gas station matching the description. But what shocked them the most was who was behind the wheel.
I'm back from Applebee's?
Yeah, I had a drink.
Okay. How old are you?
21. My dad is,
The driver was the last person they expected, 21-year-old Teresa Lee, the daughter of Sheriff John Lee. When she was asked to step out of the vehicle, Teresa immediately tried to use her dad's position to get special treatment. But the more she explained her version of events, the more officers began to doubt her story.
You left Applebee's.
Yeah, I left Applebee's.
You cut through the plaza. You came out by Lowe's and Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Did you hit the traffic pole that's right there?
I hit the traffic pole. This part was hanging off already. I hit a deer in Pennsylvania because I go to school in.
Do you smoke marijuana recreationally?
I do not smoke marijuana universally.
At first, she claimed she hadn't consumed anything illegal, which was suspicious since she was coming back from a bar. She also insisted she hadn't hit anything, saying the missing part of her bumper had already been loose. What she didn't expect was that at the crash site, officers had found a piece of a bumper that fit her car perfectly. When confronted, Teresa started to change her story, but only made things worse for herself. She confidently claimed she had hit a deer, but the officers didn't believe her one bit. That only made her more nervous, and she became desperate to have her dad there to help her out of the mess. But before he could arrive, officers started piecing together what had really happened.
Did you drive away because you're scared because you had maybe had one drink and you think you're drunk?
Yeah.
And you might get arrested, but you don't seem like you're drunk?
Yes.
So you want to just tell the truth?
Yes, I'm telling you the
So when after Applebee's, did you hit a traffic pole? You can't miss it. It lights up. It's red, green, and yellow.
It didn't take long for Teresa to incriminate herself. She admitted she had hit something, was under the influence of alcohol, and had been texting while driving. That was already 3 serious traffic offenses, enough to land her in big trouble. In the footage, you can see her pleading to her dad every time she realized how deep the hole she dug herself into really was. But as Teresa soon found out, having her dad there wasn't going to change anything.
So, what she's saying, like, and where the damage was, doesn't really make too much sense. So, tried to get some more information out of her, but and then that piece of bumper there. So, for the other one, was it just like the bumper wasn't hanging like that?
Yeah, no, so what it was is basically this was intact.
Okay.
This piece was missing, and the scratches here,
Those were all.
that's all from a deer that she.
At first, officers worried that Sheriff John Lee might be like some corrupt cops and tried to sweep things under the rug for his daughter. But they quickly saw that he was there to gather facts and make his own judgment. He even worked with the officers to check Teresa's text messages to establish a timeline of events and determine the exact time of the crash.
What do you think, Con, do you think that initial call came? Because she probably hit it and was like, Dad, what the f I do?
Somewhere between 10:45 and 11.
That's about right.
When we were talking to her, she wasn't telling us what she said all.
I mean, lying to she knows, but I'm a cop. She knows. She knows not to do that. Well, maybe she didn't even. Do you think she? I'm not. I'm saying she didn't lie.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to be very clear about that.
Yeah.
But she might not even look at the freaking car to see if there's any difference.
Despite his cooperation, the officers decided to keep him out of the investigation to avoid any appearance of bias. All attention shifted back to Teresa and the information she had already confessed. Officers conducted field sobriety tests, which showed she was clearly impaired. At the station, it was confirmed that her blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit. With all the evidence they needed, officers concluded that a crime had been committed and arrested Teresa.
Dad.
So,
Dad.
Dad.
Dad. Where's my dad?
Oh, your dad's right over here.
You stop with this shit. Get in the car.
Right,
You're arrested for DUI. Go ahead.
Have a seat.
Though deeply hurt and disappointed, her father was the one who placed her in the patrol car, ensuring she was taken to the station. In the end, Teresa was charged with driving under the influence, reckless driving, and failing to report an accident after hitting the traffic light. On the screen right now is a video where we reveal the terrible secret this mom was hiding. Cops make the worst discovery of their lives.